Welcome back to Pace Immigration. Talking today about an article that I saw on the Globe and Mail, Andy, where it says that the waiting list for immigration is now 1 million people long, and that the government's method of trying to deal with this, because they have to find some way to deal with it, is to maybe stop taking applications altogether. Is that right?
Well, that's what's reported in the article, all right? But there are ways that individuals and the government could really deal with this problem.
And what would some of those, I mean, if they're talking about shutting it down altogether and not taking any more applications, does that mean, what, the visa offices around the world will close? I mean, what's their plan, or what would their plan be?
It's impossible to do that in the long run, at least, because our workforce is shrinking relative to the people who are retiring. People like you and me and others, the baby boomers and so on.
I'm not going to be retiring for a little while.
Oh, well, me neither. But I mean, I'm talking about those poor souls out there who do retire.
Right.
Someone's going to have to support them. So we have to have immigration. There's just no way around it. We're going to have it. So we're going to have to figure out novel ways of dealing with this backlog issue, both on an individual level and government level.
What would be the first thing you'd say to somebody that said, look, it's 1 million people, there's no way I can even, I'm not even going to bother if it's 1 million people long, and you would say to that person what?
Well, I would say, first of all, don't be fazed by the number, nor by what the government has said. There are several things that an individual could do to immigrate to Canada. One is, well, of course, if you're married to someone, a Canadian who's sponsoring you, that doesn't matter. You know, the backlog doesn't really count in your case. You can get in. If you're a student, you can come in and study and afterwards make your way through the workforce into landing. Another way is if someone offers you a job, a temporary job for starters, in a skilled worker occupation, you can get through that way. Another way is if you're starting your own business, and if you invest in Canada, particularly under NAFTA, for example, Americans coming in or Mexicans coming in, but even from outside of Canada, if you're investing or if you're setting up a subsidiary operation of your company overseas, that would be a way to come in. And then later you can get permanent status. All those are ways that you can use to get around this 1 million backlog in terms of immigration.
What do they even mean by a 1 million backlog? Because I know that the more I learn about immigration, the more I learn it's actually got a lot of subsets, like the spousal sponsorship, the work visas, things like that. Right. Is that million the total of everyone seeking to immigrate to Canada?
Yes, it is. And most of them are like in the skilled worker category, or grandparents and parents and people who are waiting long periods of time, 4, 5, 6 years, in order to get their applications approved. The skilled worker category is the main problem area, and they're going to have to do something about that. So on the government level, for example, what they could do is go comb through that skilled worker category and apply the criteria they have now to the people who are in the category. So, for example, new people applying are being judged on different criteria than the people who are in the backlog who came in under old criteria. Apply the new criteria against the old backlog, and you could probably comb out a lot of those people just doing that. And there are other things that the government could do to eliminate the backlog by working at it. It may involve more resources, but the resources, for example, could be obtained from investors coming in, charging them a premium for their coming into the country and using those resources to clean out the backlog, thereby not burdening the taxpayer more.
All right, there you go. Andy Semichuk from Pace Immigration, sooner to be retired than me. I'm Sean, and we'll see you next time. Bye.